Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening, a very lovely start to their day. It's been a while since we've been working on Neoram together, but I think it's finally time to get back into the swing of things. Because I don't know, now that my coursework's done, I've kind of had a bit of that kind of, the creative itch, so to speak. And so I think we need to fill that today with this lovely little series. Hopefully, if things turn out well, creation process will soon be wrapped up. And when that does, I will endeavor to basically get everything nicely packaged together and release it into public domain so you guys can use it as you wish. As such, though, it does mean I will keep some things like kind of generic so that in essence, you don't have too many specifics that all of a sudden you're just gonna, you won't be able to work with what's available. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep it general, but also give enough detail that it's not too vague. But yes, in the meantime though, let me just quickly cue up some lovely music. I'm feeling some classical vibes tonight, so let's get that roaring and through the speakers. Let me just see. Yep, perfect. That's going. But yes, so let us convene over to our thing and see what we got up to last time. Oh, I will also mention briefly, because I know we technically still needed to do one last set of factions, which was going to be for Crionerd, which unfortunately the map's on another tab because as it turns out, Roll20 has been acting up on the Google Chrome side. So instead, I'm having to basically do it through Firefox. And I prefer not to switch windows too much if I can help it. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. We're mainly going to be sitting on this document for a while. But yes, if you remember, Crionerd was going to be the capital of Coronidri, which was that lagoon town, the one surrounding the volcano. So I basically went and put at least some basic details in, so in case we needed to. So mainly just like what faction type they are, and things to do with like whether the default contract, who they're most likely to contact based on like alignments and certain things, that sort of thing. So now we just kind of, at this point, we're going to just move to what I'm hoping will be the final section, which is essentially we're going to fill in the historical relationships and activity, and then we're going to start piecing together like a final set of plot points, which should be really good to have somewhat nailed down at this point. So I'm just going to quickly grab this little line, and we're going to start, and we'll call this we'll just call this storyline for now. But we're not going to rush this, because we first need to figure out the history, because like I said, we have the I guess what we'd refer to as like the present history figured out with everything we've kind of covered in, like, the towns and civics, everything like that. So what I think we need next is the historical relationships. Like, so what is the history of this nation? I've kind of got a bit of an idea, but like I said, this is something we can work on together. So I'll just kind of start on what I'm thinking of like kind of transitioning this into, and if you guys have suggestions, just feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll see what I can do with that. So here's where I'm thinking, because again, we already kind of hinted this with Strateros. So in the early days of civilization in Neoram, basically it's going to be a situation of like, an empire shattered that kind of diversifies off into different areas I kind of have a similar thing going in like the one of the other campaigns I'm writing, but with much different like kind of settings in comparison to this. But I think it's just a good way to set it up because that, I mean, there's so many good examples of that. Like, I mean, the fall of the Roman Empire, literally everything got scattered, and some people remained, some people left, that sort of thing. So I reckon in the early days of civilization on Neoram, the Horulian Empire held steadfast, held strong. Actually, we can say held strong. Like, that doesn't seem too generic. Yeah, so held strong under the watchful rule of King Horult the Darkened. I guess we'll put some details on Horult. Horult was I guess we could say he's human, because we already have like the thing with what is it? The Basahon? No, not Basahon. It's Riverton. Yeah, the Riverton family that have like that lineage. So I reckon we make him a human. Yeah, so I want to say human fighter, rumored to be the champion of what's like a good evil god we can use for this, because I'd like the idea of like it being like an actual evil deity to kind of justify the idea of a crusade going against him. And I kind of think it could be someone really strong, like a Rithnul. A Rithnul could be a good one. Yeah, I think a Rithnul's a good one. Yeah, so rumored to be the champion of Rithnul, who quickly rose to power after being elected, or after being, I guess, what's like, I don't want to say coronated, because you normally use that for kings, but what is it like if you want to elect someone in as like, say, like a federal like a military advisor? I guess just chosen. Quickly rose to power after being chosen by the former ruler as the general of the what's like a good name for an army? Like Iron Guard? You know what? When in doubt, fantasy name generator has your back. I'm sure they have a thing for armies. Your names. Come on, can we get an army name? There's got to be something. There's Alliance, there's army names. Haha. Dwarven, Elven, Orc. Just a regular army name will do. The Cluster, the Last Regiment, the Phalanx. Ooh, Phalanx is a good one. Second Soldiers, Reserve Regiment. The Israpex? The Israpex doesn't sound too bad. Of the Israpex, which I guess we'll just say is the standing army. I'm trying to remember what's like some of the powers that Erethnal has, because he has a lot from memory. Because he's the god of trickery. I remember that much. Hold on, I'm going to pull up my deity notes that I have on my laptop, because I probably might also link this document just to help people out, but it's essentially a document I have set up where if there's anything I want to know about the deities, I literally just pull it up and I fill it in with details. So let's see, Erethnal, where are you, buddy? There he is. God of hate, envy, malice, panic, ugliness, and slaughter. Yep, this is exactly what we want. So, I guess what we're looking for... Yeah, because okay, so let's think about this for a second. So he's someone who works well with deception, and his main thing... Well, actually, he's a war deity, and he's working with malice and envy. So there's a lot of potential there. God, it's been a long time since I've read through Rifnal's thing. So what is it? The chaos of battle is the sacred shard of the worshippers of Rifnal, and all the myriad forms of terror and suffering that war creates. There is a strange kind of unity. This is part of the reason that Rifnal is called the Many. Battle is a test of merit and strength, and living and dying by the sword is the definition of the good life. Yeah, this is what I remember. He's basically bloodthirsty. I kind of think this could be where we find some interest, where we could plant some interesting ideas. Harold started... Harold had a lot of influence within the Israpex, which some claimed was heightened by his bond to the Many, because that's like the colloquial name for Rifnal is the Many. Fun facts. And I think this is where we could almost kind of say he starts to adopt cultish behavior, and managed to secretly operate an underground fighting pit to to train his most loyal associates. I'm going to just say cult-like, because I'm kind of thinking the idea that essentially it's not like he's like indoctrinating them through the beliefs of a Rifnal, but essentially the way he trains them is so brutal that it starts to adopt the ideas a Rifnal has. Essentially. That's like my thought process, at least. Yeah, once his cult was strong enough in both skill and number, he staged a coup against the king and threw him off the palace balcony. From there he took the crown by force and subjugated the masses to appease his malicious god. Hello, Doc. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. How am I doing? I'm doing quite nicely. It's been a bit of an interesting day, I won't lie, because I had the last day of my recruitment workshop, and it was good. We had to do a presentation on essentially proving how where would be the best places to stage car showrooms and sales agents and stuff, and my group did very well, so I was quite happy about that. And then we did this aptitude testing this morning, which weirdly enough it was kind of just a lot of puzzle solving. I'm not kidding, there were actual word ciphers, Caesar ciphers and stuff in some of the questions, and weirdly enough it started kicking my puzzle creation brain in, It was, but yeah, it was good. It was good. A little exhausting though. I was quite burnt out, but now I'm doing fine. I'm feeling chipper. Okay, so what would have been so where would these paladins have come from? Because I wanted them to be of Tritharian. A small sect of paladins began organizing a crusade on the, where is it? What's the name of that island? Yeah, there's the Spire to Celestian, which, yeah, began organizing a crusade on the island where the Spire to Celestian still stands. And eventually deposed and eventually slew the Darkened King. Eventually slew the Darkened King, but not without major bloodshed, essentially. They would have had to basically have fought through his entire army to do it. But not without major bloodshed and civilian casualties as a result. After what is his name? Oh God, how have I already forgotten? Yeah, Horald. After Horald fell, the four governing families. So that would be Iltoli. So the Iltoli, Basahon, Riverdown, and a fourth one, which I guess we'll just call what is it? Deutrid. Yeah, we'll just call them Deutrid. Yeah, the four governing families went their separate ways and founded. Actually, I don't think I like that name, Deutrid. Let's actually get like a good dwarven like last name, because otherwise it's gonna sound like garbage. Is that really all the ones we're gonna get? Oh, I like Stormheart actually. Yeah, let's go Stormheart. Yeah, Stormheart, because eventually those will be the ones. Basically, Stormheart will be the family that moves to where Coronadri is. Yeah, so that should work. And then yeah, so they went their separate ways, founded their own cities found their own cities / nations as safe havens to the survivors, essentially. The Riverdown. This is kind of where I think we'll tie in the what is it, the fact, because remember Strateris has the three ruling families. What I'm thinking is Riverton will be where the original empire sat, except it will have been scaled down, and then base around an actually no, it makes very little sense otherwise. So no, never mind. Iltuno can be where the original city was, and then because then the others, it makes more sense for them to literally travel out to like what would have been just smaller towns and basically improve those into cities, is what I'm thinking. So the Iltoli family remained in the capital city and spent and used most of their connections / resources to essentially like reshape it or reform the city, or to repair actually, or recover. Yeah, recover is a better word. I think to recover the architect, to recover the... you can't say architecture though, because architecture doesn't imply housing. Architecture implies like art, and that's not what I'm saying. I guess just to recover the buildings. To recover the buildings and secure and protect its citizens from the dangers of the... Have we actually named that desert? I don't remember if we did. I don't think we did. No, we haven't yet. Let's give it a name. Let's go with like... Yeah, Vakeen Desert. We'll call it Vakeen. That works. Ranges of the Vakeen Desert. Yeah, and this forming the new... Oh yeah, forming the city of... Or just Iltuno. We can just say Iltuno. No need to waste extra words on this. Yeah. I mean, the struggling... The struggling hub of Iltuno. Okay, then... Let's see. The Riverdown family they quickly moved to secure, or I guess I say they quickly retreated to their estates out near the what I'm assuming is like the grain fields essentially, which I don't think I ever gave a name to. What's like a good name? Because you always need a good name for like a field. Actually, out of curiosity, I wonder if there's a thing that's like field names, or like, you know, like wheat names. I don't think there is, unless there's park names. I know there's like farm names, city district names. I do not see anything. There's dimension names? What? That's genuinely insane. That is genuinely actually insane. What are we looking for? Hotel, island, hideout. No, I don't think we're finding something. Damn it. We can just come up with a name. We'll just say the Delcari Fields. We can rework names later. Yeah. So they retreated their state out near the Delcari Fields, where they started expanding the infrastructure in the nearby town to create the breadbasket known as Riverton. Then the Basahon family originally, because remembering that Basahon is bordering on the jungle. It's bordering on the jungle area. Originally opted to take care of the port town of what should we call this? I guess we'll just call it Gilrock. I think Gilrock's not a bad name. Originally opted to take care of the port town of Gilrock as part of their pact with the Iltoli. Or actually, sorry, with the Stormhearts. But soon found themselves enamored by the profits of the import scene, leading to the what is it? Oh God, I don't know why I'm so tired. But yeah, so they originally up to take care of the port town of Gilrock, part of their pact with Stormheart, soon found themselves narrowed by the profits of the import scene, leading to the rogue infested labyrinth of Basarend. Because I'm pretty certain they're the ones, yeah, they boast that thieves district. And then finally, the Stormheart family departed towards the Ring Islands. The Ring Islands, where Coronidry. Yeah, depart towards the Ring Islands where Coronidry would be established, and brokered deals with local inhabitants. Brokered deals with the local inhabitants to integrate their societies is in a cooperative manner, which of course will reflect the like, you know, why there's so many exotic races within their borders. Because I mean, you look at Coronidry, dwarf, human, wrong one. Yeah, primarily dwarf civilizations. There's Tortle, there's Triton. Like, there's a lot you can broker off this. But yeah, no, we can definitely broker this with having it that they had to work with the local inhabitants to integrate their societies in a cooperative manner. And then to explain, I'm gonna quickly change something. I'm gonna make it that this wasn't founded 50 years after the colonization of Coronidri, which I'm gonna make it that it originally hosted, which originally was a vassal of the Herulian Empire. Yeah, so I wanted to be like this. I think it's better if it's a vassal that then ended up becoming its own empire, that, you know, reestablished itself as an empire, but went in a more religious direction to seek divine protection from, you know, avoiding the same fate. After news spread of King Horald's demise, the people of Fronard rejoiced whilst the whilst the Senate, or whilst the the secret, not even secret, whilst the nobles that had hidden themselves away started appealing to the gods for safe refuge. Their prayers were answered. I'm going to put that in like quotations, like answered, because it's really not a situation of like, you know, the gods are like, oh, we hear your pleas, we're sending this dude down. It's kind of just more a coincidence. Answered when what's his name? Who's the one that leads them? What is it? Ulrent, yeah. Their prayers were answered when Ulrent arrived to the future. I've already forgotten the name. Astronym. To the future site of Astronym. They immediately summoned him for a private meeting, and through him were able to barter divine sanctuary. Able to barter divine sanctuary for the people of Fronard. This I think can become a very interesting plot point because I mean, we already have the evangelists on one hand to essentially act as like antagonists for the party should they choose to start in Fronard, but this also sets another precedent of, you know, rivalry within the nobility about whether this was the right way to approach essentially their protection, because again, it probably wouldn't have been the safest bet to just put all your faith into a single divine figure, even if they especially if they're claiming to be one, because chances are a fiend could probably easily impersonate an ASMR. Like, I'm sure someone has run that, where essentially like some type of like devil or demon that's capable of shape-shifting or like illusion magic has done that. They've like pretended to be an ASMR and then they assume control. So I heard a strange noise for a second and that scared the hell out of me. Just one sec, I'm just going to quickly reply to a text message. One sec. Okay, we're good. Okay, so yeah, so this is where we can get the bartering of the Divine Sanctuary, and this will set that up. The next part is, I guess, setting up the contention, because I guess this has covered the history, but where does it go from here? We could arguably say that the setting is like, what? Because if we check, oh, this is probably going to be, I'm going to say this would probably have been maybe 30 years. Because they would have wanted to have started developing it much like sooner rather than later. Would it even be shorter? Would it be like 5 years? It's a very good question. We'll figure out details. But yeah, so this will work as a good start. So now we need to start figuring out, okay, if we were to start running, what's it called? If we were to start running storylines in any of these areas, what would we drive as the main ones? So we'll have one for each. So let's assume that one will be, if we assume that one will be for, we'll make one for Strateros, one for Coronidri, and one for Fronard. So Strateros, Fronard, and finally, and keep in mind this will all end up eventually having to tie back into the main storyline, which is with what's it called, our Aboleth friend that we had up top here. Because remember, this is the villain we're trying to work in. So let's start with Strateros, since we already have like the most detail about it. So my primary thought I'm thinking is, and hear me out on this. Firstly, let me just quickly sort out the spacing. My first thought was as follows. Because we already know that the ruling families already have like a very big history of fighting, or they're starting to turn corrupt in the case of like, what is it, the Besa Hons. Because they're slowly starting to introduce those trade tariffs to pressure the ruling families. So what we could have is that whichever like city they start in, they start like basically gaining pressure. Firstly, just like as a generic intro, I'm just gonna say the party starts out in a city of their choice, where each PC has been summoned to maybe like some type of, I don't want to do your old meet in a tavern thing, but maybe something a bit more formal. Perhaps like because here's the thing, we also haven't figured out what starting level will be. Because, I mean, normally when I run it, I normally try to start like 3rd level, because that gives enough freedom for people to multi-class and potentially unlock their archetypes early. But I'm now trying to think, is that going to be best to rush them straight into nobility if they're starting from basically nothing? I wonder. The other way I'm thinking you could do it is that each person was given like a letter and an item, and it all ties back to something that's like a weird mystery item that all those objects fit into. Potentially. Yeah. So this is in particular just for Stratero, so I should remember that. So copy that. I'm going to quickly just go and add the little formatting things that we should have, just to make it a little bit easier to read them. Oh, come on, Coronidri, work with me here. There you go. Okay, so yeah, so they started in a city of their choice. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, well, the PCs have been summoned. Where do I want to summon them to? I think I may have to divide this a little bit further, just to make it easier. So I'm gonna make a few extra divisions. So Strateros, Il Tuno. Just because again we have so much for just those 3 cities that they could each kind of have their own storyline in themselves. So, let's quickly give a bit of room in spacing. So we've got Il Tuno, we've got Besa Rind, and we've got Riverton. I don't know why I'm struggling with names tonight. I think it's just I'm tired. But either way, show must go on. Okay, so with Il Tuno, this is the one that the Loxodons have control over. This is the one in the desert. I'm trying to think, because we also have to recognize that we have these shared factions here. So we've got the Stone Moon Roses. We have Gliota Memoria, which should be an interesting one. Yeah, because he's trying. Oh yeah, this I remember. The Platinum Plate, which we already know, and then the Dulcimer Zedalium, which is another one. I'm thinking probably the best call would be some type of, because again, it's mainly focused on like sustainability because of the way it's set up. Yeah. Because they're near the inland oasis, but they're trying to get new sustenance. So what I'm thinking is we maybe have them meet some type of inventor, or maybe like an engineer. The party is summoned to the estate of a famous architect or engineer. I'm trying to think. I want to say architect because, architect gives more option for like civics and infrastructure, but engineer also gives the premise that they might be able to make something a little bit more special in terms of equipment, because that leads into like say being an artificer or a tinkerer of some kind. For now, I'm going to leave it blank because I don't know yet where that should go. Who offers them a gold reward to help him. I'm trying to think. What are like some good options if we were to like go with this? Because my first thought initially was that like, what would he be digging for? Would he be wanting to go into a pyramid to find something special? Would he be potentially trying to dig a well or something? But I'm like, I don't know is the issue. But what he does know is that he needs guarding to do it. It's a very good question. Maybe we can start with the idea of like he's trying to find a natural spring, and then he accidentally uncovers something a little bit bigger than what he realizes. Like he somehow stumbles across like the opening to an ancient temple, and that's where things start to kick off. Yeah. He offers them a gold reward to help him dig out a well. Where would he put it? Yeah, to dig out like a well between Il Tuno and... Yeah, somewhere between Il Tuno and one of the unnamed villages. Il Tuno and blank, which I'm just going to put in notes. I think it's what, the far left village? Yes, far left village. I would show it, but again, I can't easily switch. Actually, I could easily switch between windows, so actually let's do that quickly. If I was to do it, where is window capture? There we go. Yeah, so if we look at the map for a second, where I'm thinking is that basically you see this road between Il Tuno and this village, like over on the left. I'm thinking he tries to build a well somewhere out here, where all the shifting sands are, and that's where he uncovers the temple. And this is what I was meaning by like you know, the Storm Heart's basically traveling from Basarind all the way out to Cryonet. Like this would have basically been uninhabited until the Storm Hearts came and basically negotiated all these deals to keep everyone happy. And then Fronab would have just stayed kind of as it was with its original layout when it was originally being like a vassal, and then like had slight expansions past Astronym and Slanton. But yeah, I'm thinking we make it just between Il Tuno and this other village, which we have yet to name. So let's now switch back to the dock. Okay, so let's say like a gold reward of, because this could be a decently long journey. So let's say 60 GP per person, which is a reasonable amount. Yeah. To protect him, whilst he digs out a well, or whilst he attempts to dig a well. To dig a well between Il Tuno and that. This is because of the fact that it's in a desert. That means we can use some monsters that don't really turn up a lot. Like you've got like the classic like scorpions, or what is it, the Thrycreen, I think it is. Like if we look at, where is it, desert, there's a lot of interesting monsters. No, not the Dracolich. Get that out of here. Who is this guy? Excuse me? Okay, he just looks like every generic protagonist. But yeah, there's like a lot of options. Like we've got vultures, we can have camels. I mean, the vultures I don't think will be an issue. This is where we can potentially have issues. So we can have like flying snakes. Probably wouldn't be running kobolds. I think it wouldn't make too much sense. Are statues normally desert creatures? I thought they weren't. Feeding the blood of living creatures. I guess it could feed on like desert animals. Oh god. Oh, what did I do to my jaw? Oh god, that hurts. I think I just pulled a muscle in my jaw. That's not fun. But yeah, what else is there? Frick. There's the fire newts, because I guess, yeah, you would have like elemental plane of fire, like potential across here. I thought gnolls were normally forest creatures. What would they be doing out in a desert, of all places? I guess because they're nomadic, so they could So they could be they could fit in within the environment. Where are the Thrycreen? They're like one of my favorites. But yeah, there's a lot of different options we can run. Yeah, there they are. There's the Thrycreen. These things are completely terrifying because they're basically bugs with weapons. But yeah, that could be something interesting to kind of run early, maybe. So then during the digging process, Blank uncovers. I actually think, I don't think he's because archaeologists wouldn't handle this sort of thing. I guess would you call it an architect? To help protect him and his team. Yeah, I think him and his team, because it would just be more than that. Oh, well, thank you for the hydrate, Steph. I didn't even realize you were here. Oh, I guess you just arrived. Fair enough. What have I missed? Nothing much. The only thing you would have missed is we kind of formed a bit more of a history with how Neoram set up. So it's basically like, we basically had it that the original king was, or the tyrant king was basically a champion of Rithnul, who is the god of malice and envy. He basically had control of the army originally as its general, then basically trained up a cult of loyal subjects to kill the original king. Then some paladins of Tritherion, I should remember that, deposed him via crusade, and then from there the four ruling families kind of split to create their own. Their own empires. The only difference is that now Fronard is actually treated more as a vassal. It's now considered more of a vassal nation under the original empire. And then when Horald died, they appealed to the gods for safe refuge, and that's when Ulrent arrived. And so it was kind of this coincidental thing of they saw Ulrent and basically used him to help barter for divine sanctuary of Fronard. So that's kind of the history we have set up, and now we're starting to work on like plot lines for the party that can eventually lead into something greater from there. But yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much the whole, like, what you've missed. But also, how are you doing? Oh, that is a bit low. Yeah, it weirdly went by quicker than I expected, because normally I usually struggle with like coming up with the history of the nations, but I guess that's kind of changed a lot now. Now it's more that I struggle with like trying to piece together a storyline that can work. But I guess it's not the strangest thing that could happen. But yes, I did also see the hydrate. I'm getting to that now. Well, that was the last bit of my water, so I may need to replenish that. And oh yeah, forgot the stretch. Let's get that going. Oh, well, that was definitely both my joints cracking. That's fine. I'm not even that old and I'm already cracking. Which means I will be a literal xylophone by the time I'm like 50, but that's not an issue. I've probably pissed off so many people by saying that. But yeah, so during the digging process, I've had better mornings, but hopefully my day isn't this bad. I mean, fair enough, not every morning can be the perfect morning, but yeah, hopefully the day doesn't go too badly for you. I assume it's another work day, because it's Thursday night here, so it'll just be Thursday morning for you. So yeah, no, hopefully it isn't a bad day. I guess maybe you've just been having like bad days at work or something, I'm guessing. I hope everything's going alright out there, but It's hard for me to tell, really. Yeah, so during the digging process, he uncovers the entrance to a long lost temple. A long lost temple created by the original tribe that lived in the desert before the foundations of the Horulian Empire. Yeah, it's always safe to assume I'm working. I appreciate it. It's all good. I mean, yeah, it's always kind of, I guess, a safe assumption, because I know at this point, almost everyone I know just kind of works full time. I will soon be getting to that, but for now, I will be taking at least a month's break to kind of, recover from my career-based culture shock, and just kind of give myself a well-deserved break that I should have taken like way earlier, but never got around to because of things that happened. So yeah, hence why I'm actually able to do the karaoke stream tomorrow, which is going to be interesting, because I have an idea for how I'm going to do the music for it, but it's going to be a bit of a kind of a bit of a risk, because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially run the music track. I'm going to run the original song basically very, very softly underneath, and I'm just going to sing over the top. And I'm going to like prep this earlier so I have it ready. And then I'm going to have it set up so that when the VOD comes out, the music's not going to be there, but I'm going to record it so that on my end, so it has the music, and then that version will be what I upload to YouTube or to the VOD channel. You got to rest up and take care of yourself. Indeed, and I am slowly doing that whilst also organizing some things I've been meaning to get sorted, like booking an appointment for a new GP, because I haven't had one for like 4 or 5 years. Just because at this point my dad has basically become the GP, because he's like an emergency physician. Okay, yeah, so they uncovered the entrance to the temple. Upon investigation by the party, upon further investigation by the party, including a few traps and remnant spirits, they find what is it? There's like some type of item that I know that's like could be perfect, and I don't want to just make it a decanter of endless water, because that's like the more obvious one to use. I want it to be because here's the thing: they have the oasis, so water's not the issue. The biggest issue would actually be more food or arable land. I kind of think it would be interesting to make it something potentially tied to arable land, because as tensions are building, they're not going to be able to. The Ultolis will know that they can't rely on the Riverdown family for Riverton to provide them with enough sustenance. So I'm kind of thinking what they might find then in there is basically an earthen rune. They find an earthen rune with a with a strong transmutation aura to it. In which oh wait. Oh, that might be something to check. Can the identify spell, because I know it works for magic items, but does it work for runes? I assume it can, right? Choose one object you must touch throughout the casting. If it's a magic item or some other magic imbued object. Okay, yeah. Which an identify spell. Because what identify is first level, so it's not impossible, but very unlikely. Which an identify spell can reveal is capable of capable of transforming sand into fertile soil. And basically what I'm thinking is, once this is introduced, this will then become a driving force, not just for what's it called? Not just for tensions between the family, well, actually mainly for tensions between the family, but it also can spark the interest of the Thieves Guilds, especially in the case of the guild that our villain is running. They may be interested in trying to take that rune, because again, remembering that our original villain isn't an aboleth that's trying to create like a mechanized true body. If it gets the power of an earthen rune that could with strong transmutation magic, that becomes a powerful weapon that it can easily implement. Like, imagine that thing's able to cast petrify, or basically create petrification. That is going to be dangerous. It wouldn't be part of the ritual, but it would definitely be part of just another useful tool for the aboleth to have to get its hands on. If the party gives the rune to we should actually come up with a name for this guy. Oh god, what's the main composition of Il Tuno? Yeah, it's primarily human, so we can make him a human architect. That's not too bad. Famous human architect named where's the human names? God damn it. Frick, where's all the D&D names? I know there's a tab for it. I guess we can also just go with human as well, assuming that... Where is it? Oh, I'm just going to go to the home tab, because this will easily fast track it. Where is D&D? There you are. Where are you, humans? Hunums? Okay, there we are. We'll get a male name for now. Yeah, so Brucer. Yeah, we'll go Brucer. Brucer Rainsinger. Okay, so if party gives the rune to Brucer, fine, we'll make it Brucera. Brucera, no. Brucera, because we love jank spelling. So if the party gives the rune to Brucera, then he eventually sells it to the Iltoli family in exchange for the what is it? What's like something that what's something an architect would have interest in within the city? Maybe like a parcel of land for a new project, or I don't think a favor is going to be what he wants. Yeah. Yeah. Which bit, Steph? I've already said so much. I don't know which part you're referring to with the yes on that. For the piece of land. Okay, yeah, no. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Exchange for the deed to a plot of land in the western. Yeah, western, because you want to see the sunset. Yeah. In the western district. In the western districts. Which draws the attention of the other two families. The attention will mainly come from basically they'll start like using the rune to prepare their own arable land, and then they end up basically like becoming less reliant on the other two, and that starts to draw attention. But if the party chooses to keep it, Bruce shows no resistance to this decision, essentially just because the adventurers fought for it. Hello, Astro, how are you doing? Good to see you. How have you been? But yeah, what I'm thinking is like he's not going to show resistance, because essentially, the party will do everything in the dungeon, and he's just kind of standing there with his crew. Just a very polite hi in the chat. very, very nice, Astro. But yeah, how are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful night, day. I can't remember. I'm pretty certain you've said that you're either Aussie or New Zealand. I can't remember. Good. Okay, that's good to hear. New Zealand, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're the one that's in New Zealand. I keep like getting you and this other viewer confused because the other viewer lives in Adelaide, and I think that's where I keep. And because your names are kind of similar, I get a little mixed up. But yeah, okay. So you're one of the New Zealand ones. Yep. Okay, that's fine. That was just me reassuring my own knowledge for a second there. Okay, so if they choose to keep it, then I think rumor starts to spread. Rumors start to surface that they found a heritage site, I think. Thumbs up. Okay, all good. All good. Yeah, I guess found an ancient an ancient burial site. They found an ancient burial site, and thus draws the attention of did we ever come up with a name actually for the villains organization? I don't think we ever did. No, we didn't. Let's quickly do that before we forget. So villain organization. What's like a good name for an organization? I'm thinking something along the lines of like... Actually, you know what? Let's see how well this can come up with good guild or like organization names. Is there an option for guild? Other? Dance, disease, drug. Oh my god, there's so many. Guild, clan names. Okay, this should help. The Crimson Enemy. Oh my god. House of the Jaguar, Silver Crushers. End of the Sea, Oracles of the Valiant. Oh, I don't like any of these. Iron Oath. No, these are all kind of not as great as I was hoping. Shadow Sin seems way too edgy. Maybe something like this. Maybe something like the. Maybe something like the Final Flash. That could work. Like the idea of like the final like flash of light off the. Or maybe even the Final Glint. The Final Glint, I think, works better. Yeah. And arguably, I'd say they will potentially draw the attention of Gliota Memoria. Definitely. I don't think they'll attract the attention of the Stone Moon Roses. But definitely of Gliota Memoria, they'll draw some attention. Because again, this is something tied to history. Not to boast, but I happened to achieve the Destroyer of Worlds achievement for Starbound the other day, which is 0.8% of players earning that achievement. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool actually, Astro. I don't have a lot of rare achievements in on Steam, but like I have a few that I'm proud of. Like I wonder if I go to my rarest achievement showcase, what is the rarest achievement I have? Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. It's my rarest, which I don't know if I can really brag about it because I don't think anyone played this enough, is from Talisman Digital Edition, which is Wonderful Wares. It's not an amazing achievement. Like the one I'm more proud of, which is my second rarest, is The Other Side of the World from Cultist Simulator, which is it's one of the endings from the Exile DLC, which I think is the one where you run away. Yeah, I think it's one of the escape endings where you only get a small amount. Yo, nice though. Yeah, no, I have okay, this is going on a tangent, but you know what? I'm actually kind of proud of this, so I'm going to show off some of it. Let me change the windows. This is going on a bit of a tangent, but I can show off. I'm allowed to show off my pride, assuming this thing will let me. Hold on. You know what? I'll have to do it off display capture instead, because I reckon this thing is not going to let me do it otherwise. So one sec. Hide that. There we go. So yeah, so this is my current achievement showcase. So there's the one I was talking about, the Talisman Digital Edition, but like I said, I don't count any of these because this was from a very long time ago, and this was just back like in quarantine when my mates would play Talisman a lot. But this is the achievement I'm more proud of. Cultist Simulator, The Other Side of the World, 1%. Like most of my achievements that are like rare are either Cultist Simulator achievements, Dreamscaper achievements. Weirdly enough, this one random Ori in the Blind Forest one, and then the rest are all like from Invisible Ink and Doom. And I got some pretty and they're all like relatively rare. Like, you know, I've got a few 1%. Actually a lot of 1%. Noise. Yeah. And only 2 perfected games, which I believe are We Were Here and Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is a more recent one though. But yeah. Anyway, enough of my Steam display. Let's get back to this. So yeah, that's a little bit of an insight into like how I am with gaming. I'm not someone who really goes for completionist's sake, really. I'm just more someone who plays around and has fun with it. But if a game does enamor me enough, I will go for 100%. Like with Ori, I do plan to go for 100% because the only 3 achievements I'm missing is beat the game without dying, beat the game on 1 life mode, and beat the game in less than 3 hours. All of which are fairly easy. I say with no confidence, but anyway. Okay, so they draw the attention. Oh god. We're trying to keep this general because at the end of the day, this is not meant to be like a seriously like, you know, like railroady set of guidelines. I want this to be very generalized because at the end of the day, when I do release this, I want like publicly, I want you guys to basically, you know, take it as you wish, do a little bit of tweaking in your own way, and turn into something bigger potentially. So let's see. So okay, so it draws the attention of both Gliota Memoria and the Final Glint. I guess we'll maybe talk about some of the intentions. The other 2 families. The other 2 families are higher assassins, or sorry, maybe higher thieves, or just rogues. We'll just say rogues. The other 2 families higher professional thieves. Thieves to retrieve the rune from the Iltoli. In order to drive, what is it? In order to basically force them again to back into the tariffs and everything like that. Yeah, so basically in order to remove their ability to resist their dependence on the resources they control. Otherwise, okay, so Gliota Memoria, remembering that Gliota Memoria are the faction that their main thing is that they want to basically they're trying to collect thoughts in order to uncover the powerful relic. So they essentially want to find a way to get a hold of the memories of the party in order to try and figure out where that temple is located and discover it for themselves. They basically want to beat them to it. In Memoria, seek out the party directly and can either barter for access to their memories or steal or steal them directly. Yeah, or like steal them in order to uncover, or I guess, is it uncover or discover? It's basically they don't want to leave the city because they already have a good foothold. My achievements are like 0.8% on the Destroyer of Worlds in Starbound, 0.9% Mint Collection in Starbound, and the Fector's Challenge in Stardew Valley. 1% Non-Alarmer achievement in Stardew Valley, Craftmaster achievement in Stardew Valley. Yep, with one perfect game. That's pretty impressive, Astro. God, every time I see Stardew Valley, it's like, I want to play it. I want to play it so badly. I don't think I'll ever stream it just because I've already kind of started like reasonably in. Like, granted, I haven't finished the first like season yet. Like, I haven't finished spring yet, but it's like, I don't want to have to restart and do everything again. Oh, not a llama as a Starbound achievement. All good. All good. But yeah. But I mean, at least you know what games you like, so that helps. Yeah. Yeah, in order to find out what they saw. What they saw in the temple. And then the final glint. Final glint, they just want the relic on behest of their on the behest of their master, and will opt for direct will opt for assassination first and foremost to secure it. So now that we understand where all the intentions are coming from, now we need to figure out where we can go from here. Because if we think about it for a minute, the desert is going to have opportunities to essentially, the desert is going to give us opportunities to run a few things. Firstly, considering it is a desert, you are definitely going to have a chance to get an elemental plane of earth planar portal, which means there may be opportunities to work with some of the elementals in there, because weirdly enough, there are a lot of elementals that you can potentially barter with. So what I'm thinking is, we need someone to act as almost like a or like, I guess not as a mentor of the party, but essentially we need the party to have a good contact past that point. Because again, they'll draw the attention first, but they won't get attacked in the first instance. So I think we'll say, like, once the party is reasonably established within Il Tuno, whether as faction agents or simply mercenaries, how do we want to treat this? Because again, we don't want to go straight to nobility, because nobility not everyone is keen to work with nobles. I've learned that from enough campaigns that people don't always want to work with nobles, because for one thing, nobles are kind of dicks, and secondly, it places a lot of status that some parties just don't want. I think, and again, we don't want to rush the final glint just yet, because again, they're very early. I think what we might do is we may have a, because again, this is also very much based on where what the party does. Like, there's a lot of hinging on what the party does with it, like whether they keep the rune a secret, whether they start using it like openly and publicly, whether they try selling it off. I think, to be honest, I think this may be as far as we can push it, unless we essentially almost try and like forcibly introduce some type of mentor figure. But it's again a situation of, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, you don't want to force a fiend. You wouldn't want to force a... would you want to force a dragon? You could, but it doesn't set a good precedent. Maybe... I reckon we could introduce we could introduce an elf into this. Yeah, I'm gonna head off. All good, Steph. All good. Thank you for the good wishes, and yeah, thank you for hanging out. You hope you have a good work day. Hope everything goes well. Yeah, approaches the party and offers to... what would she offer? I'm trying to think. A female elven mage, definitely a mage for this, approaches the party and offers to help them unlock the true power of the rune in exchange for their help if they refuse, or if they reject the offer. Oh, thank you, Astro, for the 20 bits. Very kind of you. Oh yeah, I did also just realize you did redeem hydrate. Sorry, that took me a second. I ran out of water, so I'll need to quickly pop off and grab some more of it. So give me one moment, and I shall go quickly refill. BRB. I have returned with the water. Let's get back into this. But yes, thank you for the hydrate. There we go. All right, back to it. So, yeah, so if they reject the offer, she leaves in a half, and I don't know yet what she'll do, but something will happen. But what I'm thinking is, if they do accept the offer, she explains to the party that what is it? What do we put this as? I don't want to make it I'm like, do I make it a mentor? Do I make it a love interest? I basically want to have it that someone's being targeted. Or not targeted, sorry, but they're being put under pressure by something else. What could be the case? That her mentor, actually not even a mentor, you know what? No, I shouldn't make it husband. Husband will make it worse. What's like a... Oh God, why am I struggling to think of a relation that can work? That her colleague, maybe. That her colleague, a gnome wizard, named, we'll figure out names later, has recently started, I don't want to say like jittering, but something else. Has recently been has recently been exhibiting strange behaviors, namely holding, or has recently been visiting a... I'm trying to think, like, imagine if and hear me out, Grim is the baby and was slowly putting his essence into it, and the reason you find him sleeping the final time is due to being weak from the last time. Okay, firstly, yeah, I could kind of see that. I could very much see how that could work. Secondly, hello Kobold, how are you doing? This is a very surprising message to get as, like, you know, as a first appearance, but I appreciate it. But yeah, that is an interesting theory you propose for Grim. Definitely. Okay, so... yeah. Okay, I have a good idea. Has recently been disappearing once or twice a week, and claims that his wife has come down with a fever. However, every time a friend reported a close friend reported seeing him heading out of the west gate or out of the east gate towards the oasis, holding some type of orb in his hand. Plus would let him live on, and when the night dies, he would just move on to the next place he is called. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense that, yeah, like, I guess that like final form is essentially Grimm almost kind of rebuilding himself, and the ritual is just essentially once he matures into what we saw when he first arrived with the Grimm troop, then yeah, he kind of goes through that same process again. It's like it's kind of just, I guess, the plot of the second Ghost Rider movie, where essentially where like the devil wants to basically get a new body for himself because the one he's currently in is dying. Like, that could be what's going on there. So it's like a slow, like, soul transference sort of thing. But yeah, no, it's an interesting proposal. Hollow Knight, yeah. Kobold and I were talking about this last night during the Hollow Knight stream. Hence why it's coming up, Astro. Because Grim Trial is looking exactly like him, but a young version. Yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean by that, Kobold. I definitely see what you mean. But yes, okay. Oh right. Yeah, no, that's what's going on. Yeah, that's what that whole discussion was about, Astro. So apologies if that seemed a little bit confusing and I randomly went on a tangent. Okay, so should the party attempt to follow like the city? Still left with you with a baby to raise alone. That is true. But I mean, I think in one universe, Ghost could be a good parent. Granted, he's not very... Granted, he does basically drag the kid into danger, but, you know, worse things have happened. Family feud. Yeah, basically. I mean, Grimm just basically left us with full custody of his kid without us even getting an opportunity to say yes or no. So yeah, so should the party attempt to follow him out of the city, they come across a what was it? Parenting 101 with Grimm. Oh god, I wouldn't want to go to a 101 class that Grimm's running. And I mean, especially if it's parenting, because let's be honest, I don't think what he did was parenting. Ghost and Hornet can raise it together. That is true. Not that I think Hornet likes us anymore, so it'd be very hard to, but especially because I don't actually know what Hornet's like opinion is on Grimm, but I kind of think she wouldn't like it, like, at all. They're siblings, though. I mean, that's true, but also Hornet kind of makes it very clear that she kind of doesn't want anything to do with Ghost. Because again, like you read through her dialogue, and everything she says is basically, if you're going down this path, I can lead you in, but I'm not pulling you back out, essentially. Like, she's just basically doing her job, and that's all that there is to it, essentially. That's like the way I feel like she's portrayed, based on dialogue. That might be me. So should they attempt to follow the city? They come across a small sandstone do I want to say like a tunnel or like a cave? You wouldn't really have a cave on the side of like what's it called, like an oasis. It would be more like a well. What else would you build on the side of like an oasis? That's fair. By all accounts, it doesn't feel like it makes sense sometimes. But yes, thank you for that, Astro. Thank you for the sound alert. Oh boy. I just got double ad. Wait, what? Oh, it might be like 2 of the 15-second ones. Yeah, I can't make them any shorter, unfortunately. So I apologize if you did get double baited by ads. Okay, so wow, a tented shop selling melons is what would be on the side of an oasis. That just sounds like, that just makes me think of like the ending of like Banjo-Kazooie when the woman's like carrying out the was it like the tray of watermelons? Oh, did you also get double added Kobo? Damn. That sucks. Like I said, I have very little control over it, so at that point it's kind of out of my hands, so to speak. Oh god. Quarries won't normally form near water. Or would they? Would you get a sandstone quarry near water? Where does sandstone naturally form? This is just something I need to check. Lol, yes, the melon lady. Yep, everyone remembers the melon lady from the end of Banjo-Kazooie. Where is it? Large deposits found in the US, South Africa. I need details. Laser sand amassing due to sedimentation. I just need to know location. Can you don't make it like a freaking science lesson? Where are like the sandstone quarries most likely? Oh god. How far do I need to search for this? Classic in origin. I'm not worried about this. Where are they normally found? God dang it. No, I don't care about components. Tell me where the hell you find this stuff. I guess in canyons. But you wouldn't really have a canyon there. Okay, for now I'm just going to say that it's a sandstone quarry. Yeah, maybe like or maybe they come across a dried up sandstone well. By the way, I was saying no shop selling melons because in Breath of the Wild there's an oasis, there's a few shops and one sells melons. Oh yeah, that's true. There is a watermelon stand. Maybe, ooh, I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. It'd be very hard to live out there. Maybe they come across like a sandstone hut that's being built out there. Actually, no, better idea. Dried up, because it's an oasis, dried up sandstone well. Dried up sandstone well. Next to the they come across a dried up sandstone well, which leads into a series of tunnels running underneath the oasis. In explanation of said tunnels, reveals a, oh god, feels a large, was it laboratory maybe? No. Oh god, I'm trying to think. Melon shop sells melon juice, melons, melon armor, melon weaponry, melon shields, and many more. All melon themed stuff. I love the idea of melon weaponry. Makes me think of what is it? The food fight scene from the first episode of Ruby Volume 2, where what's her name, Nora, just like, I don't know what she smacks into the watermelon, but she smacks like some type of pole into the watermelon to recreate her hammer, and it just goes completely batshit. Yeah, maybe like a labyrinth of partially collapsed tunnels. Leads into a labyrinth of partially collapsed tunnels. Collapsed tunnels running underneath the oasis. And underground tunnels that is cool tunnels to keep away from the heat above. That is another thought too. I'm just like thinking, would it be good to maybe have like some sort of like organization hidden there, or maybe even have it that it's like some sort of like set of mystic tunnels that are kind of like hidden away and lead to something more. The tunnels themselves are home to a, oh god, what's like something that could fill these tunnels? I'm like thinking through them off like the top of my head, and nothing obvious is coming up. I don't want to make it just a random warforger who's tended the halls, wait for the master to come back. That is a thought. Alright. A home to a yeah, that could be interesting, like a single warforged. Yeah, to a single warforged. To a single warforged and who is found in a badly broken state, surrounded by dead Thrycreen. Because I think Thrycreen do have like underground layers, don't they? Let me double check. What are the deserts of the world, avoiding all the races? Yeah, I think yeah, I do want to make it that's like old Thrycreen tunnels. Hence, yeah, so we make it that like basically whoever this gnome was, he basically unrouted an old set of like Thrycreen tunnels and use that essentially as a lab. Blink is found in a large chamber filled with scrap metal, filled with shattered crystals, and a what's it called? I'm trying to think of the word. Yeah, like shattered crystals and a set of my brain is like short circuiting trying to think like what else you would put in this like chamber. Or maybe like a collection of random components in worn out sacks. Worn out sacks. Kind of, what would he be doing with the orb? That's what I'm trying to think. Because like in my brain, I'm like, what would be a motivation for him to be like working in these tunnels, trying to get away from everything? And it's like, it would only be if he's doing something really like potentially sinister, but not as sinister as other things. Holding the orb aloft. He panics at the sight of the party dropping the orb and creating a wild magic surge. Trying to think like what I could do with this. He explains that he found the orb buried in one of the alcoves. In one of the alcoves when he first discovered the tunnels. Actually, do we want this to be Thrycreen? Because I'm trying to think. If you're going to have a series of tunnels, it wouldn't be Thrycreen because they can live above ground. Who would actually benefit the most from having underground tunnels to work in? It makes me think of some type of like rogues guild potentially. Or what's like another like creature that would want to live in, that knows how to like live in specialized layers like that? Is it finally time to look in the creature codex? Kobolds? Ooh. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we could make it kobolds. Because then it gives potential reason for like his actions to be excused because they could be evil kobolds. Because again, kobolds can be evil. So let's say that he explains that he found the orb buried in one of the alcoves where he first discovered the tunnels. And yeah, when he first discovered the tunnels, and what's like a thing that could drive it? Something I do find funny is one person who was making a carnival ringleader, they accidentally created a grim-like character. I could imagine that becoming very ominous because, like, what is it? There's what's it, the thing from Ravenloft? If I find it, I think it's in one of the Ravenloft, yeah, it's in the Ravenloft book. There's like a dread domain that covers a very similar thing. But for me, I'm only hungry. That's fair too. Where is it? There is a very particular, like dread domain that has a very similar presence. Yeah, here it is, the carnival. Like this one has very similar themes to like the Grim Troop as well, because it's basically like a continuous carnival filled with fae. And I think like the ringleader is somewhat evil from memory. Like I don't remember all the details. I remember Isolde. Isolde's she's the ringleader. So she's kind of got similar aspects to Grim. She's essentially kind of like a paladin that has the essences of a vampire, and that's how she kind of survives in the world. But like again, that's what it always makes me think of, slightly. But she's definitely a unique specimen when it comes to that as well. Yeah. Yeah, he found the orb buried in one of the outcomes when he first discovered the tunnels. And he saw visions. And when he first picked it up, I'm also going to quickly change this. I'm not making him a wizard. I'm making him a tinkerer, because this works out well. I still like that I made a character who is a neutral evil monk kobold chef that doesn't care what goes into the pot. Dude, that's like a genius character. That's a genius character trait. I like that. Like a kobold chef that doesn't care what goes into the pot, but yet it's still like edible. Like it makes me think of what's her name, Diona from Genshin. Like that kind of premise where she's like, I'm gonna find the nastiest things, I'm gonna just throw them in, and if they somehow turn out good, well, I'm just cursed. It's like a weird Sisyphean like loop. Yeah. When he first picked it up, he saw visions he saw visions of another plane that boasted greater resources. However, the kobolds fought to take it from him, and he eventually resorted to clearing out their nest with help from his construct. They're prestidigitation so they can light a fire when they want to cook. Oh, 100%. That's like the perfect way to do it. Okay, this is going to be an interesting question, but like what's the... Like, you know how there's like cantrips that are very much designed to have like very small mundane effects? Like things kind of like, like prestidigitation, Thorncraft, Druidcraft, Minor Illusion. So mainly those four. Out of those four, which one do you normally like pick when you're playing a spellcaster? Because I'm not gonna lie, I am someone who will like always go for Minor Illusion, because I don't know, there's something so fun and slightly mischievous about being able to just like create random noises or like little images to try and like fool people that can also play well into like certain operations. Like being able to create like sources of noise that are far away from you it seems like such a fun thing. So clearing out their nest with help from his construct. Reading over the inspecting the cave and reading over the draconic carvings of the kobolds reveals I don't have any experience playing a caster since I've only played a ranger. Oh, you've only ever played one character? Dang. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, rangers are still cool because they're third casters, which are still neat. Like, I do like... Actually, no, they're not even third casters, they're half casters. Rangers are cool, but I think they kind of got a little bit... like, they got kind of debuffed a lot based on, like, their initial traits, which, thankfully, like, the new kind of alternative rules, like the optional features, I think have fixed that a lot. But I do like rangers. I have a character in mind that I want to play that's, like, basically a ranger that was once an archer, lost an eye during an operation, and then essentially became a melee focused fighter, and I've always wanted to run it. My kobold has this ability as a bonus. Oh yes, you have the, what is it, the beg one, the crying beg. It's, yeah, no, I know that trait. That race trait is such a fun one to use. The Grovwin beg. It's actually insane. Reveals that a half dragon named blank has placed a number of locked boxes, or maybe has like, yeah, maybe has stashed a I don't know what yet in the temple hidden by the endless forest of cacti. Because I do remember we do have it on the like map that there's like one random temple in the forest of cacti, and I think that's kind of where I want to send them to if I can. I also have this one draconic. Oh yeah, the draconic presence one. I remember that one. It's a really nice feature to have, but it's one of those where again you have to kind of like find ways to balance it out because it can be very strong. I'm kind of like thinking it would be interesting to, because okay, what do we have at the moment as plot lines? Like, because I feel like this currently is kind of devolving to something else. I don't think it's impossible because again we have the rune. The rune is driving the hostility. If they follow this particular plot line, they'll find out the details, and then they can make do with what they will. I mean, I'm trying to think what would be a good reason to go out. I do like my kobold can also breathe a breath of dragon of my choice, at least a 2d4. Okay, that's a nice touch actually. I don't think kobolds normally can do that. Unless that's... I don't think even in Monsters of the Multiverse they have that either. But that's kind of neat. I like the idea that they have like a mini a mini dragon breath. Because yeah, what do the current kobolds have? Yeah, they have the Draconic Cry. Oh yeah, so that's what replaced the Grovel and Beg that I was thinking of. And then yeah, that Draconic Presence and a couple other things, they're definitely more of a homebrew thing. Okay, that's kind of neat though. At a yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think. Because let me think. Kobolds normally are very interested in trying to take down dragons as well. Because yeah, like I'm looking at this. In other places, they know how dangerous dragons can be, and they try and defend it. I can breathe it because of my monk subclass, Way of the Ascended Dragon. Okay, that is definitely a homebrew subclass because I've never heard of that. I mean, it sounds interesting because, I mean, it makes sense as a kobold to have like a subclass where you can attempt to try and reclaim the draconic magic. Don't know how well that works though, considering the kobold relation to Curdle Mac, but I mean, I'm sure your DM has a plan for that. Yeah, okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you know, the gnome accidentally, like the gnome's like clearing out of the, I think Ascended Dragon is multiverse content. Is it? If it is multiverse content, then I definitely do not remember that. But I'm pretty certain multiverse doesn't add subclasses. Oh wait, no, wait. I think I know where you're talking about at Kobold. I think it's in Fizzbands. Ah, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's this one. Yep. Okay, I remember this now. Yep, Breath of the Dragon. That's it. That's it. I remember this now. Yep. Okay, I completely forgot. Just gotta look up Monk, I guess. Yeah, no, I found it. It's in Fizzbands. I completely forgot that Fizzbands added subclasses. It doesn't add many, though. It adds the Drake Warden and the Way of the Ascended Dragon, and that's it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking what I think the plot line I'm going to work with here is that essentially they cleared out the kobold like nest thinking it was something evil, and then they found out, oh, they've now uncovered this plot that this dragon is essentially planning to take control of Il Tuno. I'm just trying to think, which dragon isn't that works the best with the desert? Because I know one of them does. I think it's in Monster Manual though, if I remember correctly. Time to quickly do some dragon reading. Where are the dragons? Dragons. Which one is it that actually likes the desert? Dragons, please. There we go. So which one's the chromatic that does? Chromatic, dragons, the wreckage and treasures of fallen peoples. I don't think they're desert dwellers. Actually, there's a simpler idea I think we can do to find out, which is basically using the filters. Because I'm pretty certain if we get a dragon, the dragons are sorted by regions. So if I put in desert, this will tell me what likes the desert. Blue dragons? There's no way, right? Baron. Oh, actually, yeah, it would be a blue dragon. Okay, then I have an idea. That an adult blue dragon, which we don't have a name for yet, is preparing, maybe not an adult actually, maybe a young blue dragon, because young dragons can do a reasonable amount of can exert a reasonable amount of control even in young age, if I remember correctly. Am I gonna have to go back to Fizzbands to double check that? I'm gonna double check Fizzbands, because I know Fizzbands talks about like the way of the aging and how that works. Is it lifespan? I think it's lifespan. Yeah, young dragons, that's it. Establish a lair, develop the land, allow it to maximize safety and good hunting, amass as much treasure as possible, acquire magical wards to help protect the lair, sabotage the efforts of other young dragons. I know I'll never get to play my chef kobold, since I have no idea if I'll ever get another campaign after the campaign I'm in at the moment. Why do you say that, kobold? Is it because of Is it just because like your current like D&D group that you're playing your current campaign with aren't really keen on doing another one afterwards, or is it just like one of those more long form ones that's going to go for years, sort of thing? Just curious. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Secure the agents of loyal and powerful minions. Let me think. How strong are young blue dragons? Is it going to be dangerous? Actually, yes, it could be very dangerous. But could be useful. Okay, I have an idea. Young blue dragon. We can make it that he's trying to establish a lair, and they're trying to, and the kobolds were trying to prevent it from happening. Is attempting to construct a lair within the forest of cacti near Il Tuno. And that the orb would be the key to preventing its success once completed. No, I'm Australian and most of my friends are Americans, so time zones are mute. And if the group I'm in doesn't want to do another, I won't really have many other choices. Okay, that's a fair point. I will say, Kobold, if you are looking for like potential like D&D groups within Australia, I might be able to assist with that, because I have a close group of friends who are big D&D enthusiasts and would love to do like some more D&D with fellow Aussies and stuff. I'm actually going to be looking to potentially start running my campaign sometime within the next couple of months as well with them, which is going to be exciting because it's the first time I've DM'd in like 2 years, because I didn't really do it during the lockdowns. So if you want, feel free to feel free to like send me a whisper on like Twitch and stuff, and I'll introduce, if you want, I can just basically introduce you to them, and you can potentially get like another option for playing D&D if you want to do more stuff with it. Because like I said, I love D&D, and I always like finding, other people who love it too. And if people are struggling to find a game, I'm happy to host it. I want to try and promote it more. So yeah, if you want, you feel free to like send me a whisper on Twitch, and we can organize something. I'm good. Not playing another campaign at the moment since my mind is super focused on the one I'm in, and multitasking hurts my brain a lot. I mean, that's fair as well. I'm more saying that, like, you know, when that campaign finishes, and if you're looking for, yeah, like, I'm not saying you need to, like, you know, run both campaigns at the same time. What I'm saying is, if that campaign finishes or gets, like, cut off early, and you're, like, say, struggling to find another Australian D&D group, then I'm always happy to assist with that. That's all I'm saying. It's just purely an offer. It's not, and you are welcome to take it or leave it. It is just what I am offering. So, just clearing that up. I'm just going to make a note here for myself, which is lead into dragon centric plotline and the final unlock of the earthen rune's power. We'll just quickly highlight that in yellow. Where's my highlighter? There it is. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Glad we're all on the same page here. All right. That's actually not a bad, like, starting setup for Strateros. So, and arguably I'd say I kind of might leave the description for that, like, particular plot line there just to start with. Because, like I said, I don't want this to be too, like, overly specific, because I want to allow the creativity for other like, you know, DMs and stuff to kind of, like, work this as they wish. But I might, like, clean that up later on in the week, get that looking nice, and then maybe in, like, the next couple of streams we'll look to try and fill in the rest. I understand, it's just I panic way too much on days approaching the sessions for this campaign, since the other members are American, so they're doing sessions 7 p.m. around their time. Well, it would be, I think, 11 a.m. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I have a horrible sleep pattern. Yeah, that is a bit of a difficulty. Yeah, I've never had a situation like that where you know, you're basically having to do them in the afternoons, because when me and my friends have done, like, D&D and stuff, we normally do, I think it's like 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. with a half-hour dinner break somewhere in the middle. And that's what we've normally done, so that it's like a nice late evening going into the night sort of thing. But yeah, that's definitely a difficult thing. I'm tempted to inquire as to where the panic's coming from, like whether that's purely like an anxiety thing, or whether it's things potentially related to the campaign. But like I said, I'm not going to pry too much into that, because it's probably going to be something personal and I don't want to push it. My sessions are like around 3 hours long with a break halfway through. Okay, so they're reasonably short. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I can really say, unfortunately, Kobold, but I mean, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Like, that's the thing with D&D. As long as you're having fun, that's all you need. It's not always about, like, you know, it's not always about, like, playing by the rules or everything like that. It's just about having fun. Just a ball of anxiety. I freak out just walking out the house if even one person is walking in the street. Oh boy, yep. I can definitely relate to that, because I used to have terrible anxiety as a kid. And even nowadays I still kind of have it, but it's been a bit more manageable. So I completely get where you're coming from on that, Kobold. It's tough. It's tough. You have to figure out a lot of, like, coping mechanisms to kind of figure out how to maintain a reasonable level of, like, calmness. But I mean, as long as you've got, like, some type of support network to help you with that, or you just have a good understanding of what your coping mechanisms are, I'm sure you'll be fine. I have faith in you. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it for tonight, because I'm not going to lie, I'm very tired and it's almost midnight and I need to get some sleep, because I've got to go clean up the car tomorrow morning and make preparations for the karaoke stream. So yeah, with that, thank you all for coming. You've been a wonderful audience this evening. Hope you guys are excited to potentially see how the other plot lines are going to form out. Yeah, to those watching the VOD either on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you for your time. I do appreciate that. Special thank yous go out to AstroCat, Steph Things, and of course Hungry Kobold for popping into chat and making this a fun time. Yay, 10 minutes to midnight. Yep, it's getting to that stage. But yeah, with that, let's see if we can raid out to someone. Let me just take us to our ending panel quickly, and I'll go take a look and see who's up. Actually, another planet's currently up doing stuff. Who else? Juan is, Kari is. Yeah, you know what? Let's go raid another planet, because they're a wonderful person, and as I like to put it, they're delightfully British. So yeah, let's go show them some love. So let's raid out to them. As always, the raid message is pub crawl with the appropriate emotes if you do have them. Otherwise feel free to use your own emote combo, whatever you wish. But yeah, with that, thank you all